frame tech that if you press the directional input with the start button at the same frame, you can skip text loadings of the team and manufacturers entirely. This is very risky. I do not recommend going for this in a marathon, but I thought it would be interesting to showcase this at least once.
Alright, so all manufacturers. So as the category can probably imply, Maverick is going to be doing a Grand Prix run utilizing all 4 manufacturers in this game. So, essentially, this is 4 different any percent runs stapled together in one big run. So, our route for this particular running of the category is going to be DRT Aj Solo, RTS Tarazi, DRT Lizard, and RTS Assoluto. So, right, so DRT runs. So, some of these are going to be DRT runs, and some of them are going to be RTS. For those who are not in the know, what's the difference between both of these teams? Like, what's the significance?
So basically, dig racing team cars, they start off with some really slow cars, but as you perform well throughout Grand Prix mode, your cars get significant upgrades in comparison to the one that you were previously driving, to the point where in stages 3 and 4, your cars are actually faster than Racing Team Sovolo's versions. For example, the Aj Solo Licorne, that's how you spell it, I have no clue. If you're driving with the RTS tunings, it runs at about 149 miles per hour top speed. This one, on the other hand, the Dig Racing Team tuning, it has a max speed of 152, which is 1 mile faster than Racing Team Sovolo Infinito, which is the fastest stage 3 car for the hard difficulty RTS.
Yeah.
And the DRT equivalent of Infinito, Assoluto Infinito, actually has a top speed of 155, which is a significant upgrade in comparison.
Absolutely. So, in general, not only do the performance differences matter, there's also a matter of what team you go with is effectively your difficulty select for the run. So, easy is Micromouse Mappy. Normal, shall we say, is PRC. Hard is RTS, and then expert is DRT. So, underneath all of that, something that you would not see in a speedrun is the fact that there is a story behind all 4 of these teams. So, yes, there is actual story in this racing game. So, each of them have their own kind of problems. They're each kind of, characters you kind of interact with, and in general, your performance kind of reflects on, how well they treat you, or how friendly they are towards you, or, things like that. Because each team has a very specific problem that they're, pushing against. There's a, some of them, it's a lot more tangible. So DRT, for example, you just signed with the worst performing team in real racing route. So they used to be a really good team that brought home a lot of different victories. And then you got a money-hungry team owner that literally just cares about the optics, doesn't care about, how well they actually do. He just, understands it just from a marketing perspective and not, doesn't actually care about the racing. So you pretty much sign up and you get the nicest boss ever, Mr. Robert Chrisman. And yeah.
In fact, he's the one manager that won't bury you for finishing 3rd or 2nd place here.
Yeah.
The other 3, they just blast you.
Yeah. So Robert Chrisman is on your, like, literally got your back from, you know, the day you walk in through the door. Because literally any kind of good result you can give him is ammunition that he gets to pretty much, you know, fight for, you know, the performance of the team. So if you keep turning in just passable finishes, you're not really going to get a whole lot of, you know, you're not giving him a whole lot of ammunition to, like, get you better cars. But if you're regularly, like, turning in first place, he's over the moon about that. And he's got more of a case to present to the stupid owner of the team to, hey, we've got a really good driver. You are not utilizing his potential to the best if you're not giving him the best cars. So pay up, please.
What's especially bad about this is that as part of the drama that Dick Racing Team faces in the story, the owner of the team actually wants to fire us and replace us with a famous driver from another team. In spite of our performance, we can be winning everything, he still wants to replace us. But
because again, he just cares about the optics, the marketability.
And that's Wonder Hill. Not going to be the last time we'll see it.
Nope.
That was a good first heat. Normally, normally Dick Racing Team races, you just face a lot of problems with AI cycles and stuff like that. I got around quite nicely.
Yep. And for your troubles, Robert Chrisman got you a Aj Solo Megere, I believe it's probably pronounced.
I think it's Megere, yeah. We got a significant increase in performance.
Absolutely.
Oh, can I do this? Stay right behind me. Okay, that works. Got a little bit.
Yep.
Not the ideal boost, right? But it's manageable.
Yep. Regarding the cars that your opponents have, so, in general, all the opponents want to have cars that correspond to the manufacturer of what team or what country the team is from. So, McRaeathon is French, they want Aj Solo. DRT is American, they want Lizard, so on and so forth. So, when you pick a combo where they don't match, the team that manufacturer was originally supposed to go to gets the manufacturer that you were originally supposed to go with. So, McRaeathon is currently driving American Lizard cars instead of the Aj Solo cars because you snapped them up as a manufacturer before they did. So,
we're about to see one of those. The MMM officer. I do like Lizard cars with Mappy liveries, gotta say. As much as I like them with the DRT livery.
Not quite my favorites, but it doesn't look bad, I will say. Let's see.
And then we just got past the Terrazi building. So in this course, there's a big building that we just came across that has a Terrazi's logo on it. One thing I always enjoyed as a kid was just to check the billboards all around the track. These visuals always fascinated me, and they still do to this day.
Yeah. Still pretty wild that, you know, two courses literally take place, like they start and end on a at like an airport landing, you know, landing area.
With a pretty foreboding song, no less.
Yep.
Normally you hear the objective in Brightest Night, but with DRT it's a little different. It gets to play here in Edge of the Earth instead. Which I actually like for this team, I'm gonna say. For DRT, it's pretty good.
Yep. It very much fits the vibe.
You're just fighting for survival in this Grand Prix because story-wise, the second heat is actually really difficult, as the managers point out. You're desperately trying to qualify for the final GP, and I think for a Dig Racing team that just struggles to win every race, it's a good fit to have the scariest song, the most anxiety-inducing track of the soundtrack here on Edge of the Earth.
A joke that kind of gets skipped over in speedruns and like the dialogue is DRT kind of has a or Dig Racing Team has a very dark nickname in they call it the Dig Your Own Grave Racing Team, because essentially signing with this team with how bad their performance is effectively career suicide. But you come out of nowhere and just kind of reverse their fortunes to where they actually win stuff now. Or at least for this particular season.
Surprisingly, Alto Blue is normally one of the hardest tracks of speedruns with Dig Racing Team, because the other tracks are so hard. This is one of the easiest, surprisingly.
Yeah.
The main reason is that this is one of the select few tracks of the run that you're actually faced with a pretty manageable AI cycle. There aren't a lot of difficult passes here.
Right. Actually, in terms of difficulty within like DRT runs specifically, where would you rate the Aj solo DRT run, and in relation to like DRT Assoluto, DRT Lizard, or DRT Tarazi?
Overall, I think I'd rank Aj solo in third. The most difficult ones are definitely Assoluto and Tarazi. They're significantly harder. Not to say that Lizard and Aj aren't, though. It's just that they have cars that are better to control, a little slower. But regardless of which combo you use here for DRT, Stage 3 is going to be a problem. You can't get away with easy races in the final GP Part 1. You're gonna
Absolutely. Especially if you're A, using DualShock, B, using automatic, or C, using both.
But if you are using automatic, though, you see how this game varies greatly, whether you're using automatic or DualShock. If you go automatic DualShock, the hardest one is actually Aj solo, with Lizard being a close second. But if you go all out with Negicon, manual transmission and everything, then the hardest one becomes Assoluto. Which, from a casual perspective, it's actually the easiest. It gets reversed when you enter an optimal speedrun setup. With Tarazi not being far off, to be honest. They have some really nasty passes. Cornerings, Dutchy can attest to that. He raced a DRT Tarazi a few times before. And he is our best grip racer that we know. And yeah, he gets some really difficult corners there. I'm not quite as skilled as he is with grip cars, but I can manage. So far, so good. No major mistakes, but this is where the real difficult part of the run starts.
Yep.
And the test I just skipped, it's the phone call from the owner. He wants to fire me. He gives a large budget increase to butter Robert Chrisman up to replace. He's just trying to blackmail Chrisman to replacing me. Chrisman refuses. Like a fantastic boss and a likable character.
Yep, he's very much a man of principle, and like I said, he has your back from the day you walk in through the door.
Oh boy, this won't be easy.
Yeah, so because of the AI cycles and whatnot, and the fact that you have pretty much 90 seconds to go from last to first, you know, when you start out, you're going to be cutting this very close. But once you start getting better and, have some good equipment on your side, then you start, getting to first by about the end of lap 2 at the very earliest.
And there we go, we're first place halfway through lap 2, with the slowest DRT car.
Yep. So I would like to amend my statement to midway through the second lap. So. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like this. Uh-oh.
Oh.
There we go.
We're fine. You're good. You're fine.
Oof.
See? I was not worried. Were you worried? Because I wasn't.
Oh, I actually was. I hate that hairpin with grid cars. They're already bad enough with drifts.
Yeah. When you're used to one style over another, switching to another style feels very awkward. Definitely heard that. Definitely heard as much from Dutchy whenever he's had to do drift vehicles, and I can certainly attest to that. Going from my beloved lizard cars to like Tarazi or Aj Solo.
Here we are, Rev Limit Funk.
Mm-hmm. Perfect song for this track.
Yeah, for this particular team, and this car I'm driving, the fastest cars, yeah, it's a great bit.
Yeah.
It's the one time where I actually prefer Red Limit Funk over the Objective, but that's it. Everywhere else I prefer the Objective.
Yep. So it really feels like, it's the kind of thing that conveys the sort of thing of like, hey, you know what? DRT was pretty bad in the past, but this dude just won a whole bunch of races, and you know what? He's doing really good. He's going to give them a chance. So there's feels like there's an inherent kind of cockiness to this particular song for this particular track. And so, you carry that with, all the wide sweeping turns, the jumps, the amount of speed that you're kind of carrying through all those. Like, it feels very much like a look out, DRT's back kind of type of song.
If you ask me, I think DRT is the only team that can realistically beat a racing team Salvador. Because you have PRC, okay. But the difference in performance with them is so massive. As long as you can get a proper car with DRT, you are set to defeat Racing Team Salvador. You can't really do that with PRC. Of course, yeah, from a plot perspective, yeah.
Unfortunately, that's where gameplay and story segregation differ. Because, canonically, DRT predictably screws up Real Racing Roots 99 so badly that Lizard literally goes under with them. Like, Lizard completely liquidates after this game, and from Ridge Racer 5 onwards, all their assets and nameplates and marquees are snatched up by Danver and
couple with Lucky and Wild, yeah. Lucky and Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, Salto. There we go. That's the advantage. There we go. That's the advantage of.
Okay, I can see you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I think we're back.
We're back?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So my
Carry on,
goal,
as you
we can
were, as you
start
were.
again.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
We're back,
we can go.
right?
We can go.
Okay.
Yeah,
can
yeah,
go.
as you were.
So
Carry
we're
on.
gonna resume in 3, 2, 1, go.
Ah,
Yeah,
the
we
other.
were. Heaven and hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back. It's hell and more hell.
Yeah. So the other funny little in joke we have with this particular track. Plenty of runs have died on this track. Same with Small, except Small has a very cute nickname. This one, depending on what team combination you've got, it could be Heaven and Hell. It could be Heaven and Heaven. With DRT, it is unequivocally Hell and Hell. There is no heaven here. You are straight up, like, against the odds here. Unfortunately, because of how many runs of mine particularly have died here with DRT Lizard, there's a little bit of a learned response I have to this song. It is beautiful. It is an absolutely beautiful, awesome song. Goes so hard, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, in my experience, it's been undercut by literally struggling to keep my car in between the walls in, catching up to everyone. And it's been more than once that I've had to literally beat the first place car right at the finish line. Like, way too close for comfort type finishes. So, not gonna lie, as much as I like this song, it does kind of have a little bit of anxiety underneath it all.
And what do you expect? It plays on the most difficult track. But it does...
Yep.
Oh. You're gonna stay right behind me, sir. Thank you. And now we're first place. Good. And so far, so good. Can't really attest for the dexterity of my grips, but we're at a good pace. If you wanna grip properly, well, watch Flying Dutchie. He's the best out there. He, Ken Neko, shoutouts to them. They have the lowest time in the leaderboards for all. Sorry about that. Missed my timing. So Kaneko is the second place in any percent for console category, and Dutchie is in emulator. A funny thing, we're about a second apart in emulators, so yeah, the competition there is pretty tough. I can wake up at any given time and find out that Dutchy has beaten my time. Which is also a pretty nice thing about any percent with Racing Team Solo. There we go.
Woo!
I was close. Oof. It is true that Assoluto outperforms Terrazzi in Racing Team Solo, but it's not by a particularly massive amount, you know. The difference is good enough low enough, so that you can viably hold a race between Assoluto and Terrazzi still be able to win. In fact, recently, Ken Neko and Fonzie raced. They had a speedrun marathon where they race each other. It was an event in person. Fonzie won this time. They're tied. The first one they held, Ken Neko won with Terrazzi.
And a handful of years ago, I know you and Dutchy also kind of went head-to-head in a very similar grips versus drifts kind of showdown, too.
Oh, yeah, we did. I think it was last year. We went through all drift and grips combos, and we held in the format of Micro Mouse Mappy Lizard races Ash Solo, and Terrazzi races with Assoluto. In fact, the race between a DRT, Lizard, and Ash Solo here on this course, which was the highlight of the run, it was so neck to neck, and I think I beat Dutchy by about a frame difference. It was honestly this tight.
Yes, it was. I saw that too, and it was just like all of us in chat were just like, "Oh, dude, who won? Like, who actually won?"
We have no idea. I think that was a tie.
That was magical. Like it's a really good testament to like how much of like a good runner both of you are, especially at your. Would it be accurate to say disciplines? I don't know if that preferences for like control types, that kind of thing.
I guess dexterity, right? Dexterity.
Possibly.
Discipline, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's also really interesting that you have a similar dynamic with Dutchy that Fonzie has with Ken Neko as well. Where, you know, one favors drift and the other one favors grip.
And I'm glad that we have this for both main platforms. Normally in speedrun community, you see that the console boards, they're more prestigious as a whole. But what's nice about Ridge Racer Type 4 is that we can customize our controllers whichever way we see fit. And the emulator has been updated to a point where the loading times they are comparable to like a fat PS2 with fast stick speed on. We did have to ban the latest version of emulators because they were so fast that, well, it was gonna mess up the consistency of our leaderboards. We had no choice but to ban it. But the previous versions, they're so good that we actually endorsed those.
Yeah.
And oh, sorry.
No, you can go for it.
That was
GG on the first run anyways.
Yeah, that was a first combo. This is a 28-24. That's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. It's very good.
That's pretty good for DRT Aj.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we are going for Terrazzi. Let's
Right,
just skip all these menus here.
Yep. So at the very end with DRT, again, because we're speedrunning, we kind of don't get to sit around and watch what happens after the fact. Robert Chrisman gets a call from the team owner, just kind of going, "Hey, so do you want to work for us again? next year at like double your original salary, and Robert Christman, kind of fed up with all the abuse he had to endure over the years, and especially this particular year, very righteously tells him to back off, and he's quitting. Which, honestly, good for him, because, I mean, a good manager working for a bad boss, yeah, no, he saw winning as kind of like a way finally out of all that. Like, he doesn't have anything to prove. He ended on a win, that kind of thing. He gets to go home and be a family man to, you know, his wife and kids.
Oh, did you see that?
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh no, what happened?
No, what happened here is, while I was boost riding, the AI car just bounced me off way further ahead.
Oh my.
I think I'm at a good pace. A
Well,
very good pace. Wow. Is this a 107.4 that we are looking? Let's find out. You hear, Dutchy? It's almost time. As long as I don't mess this up, oh, I just did. Sort of.
Oh no.
Oh no, we're good. We're good.
Right.
We're good. I
Okay.
just had an awkward cornering. Yeah. Oh, we're back to a regular. I'm back to my regular pace with ambitious 107.8. Just an average time. I forgot that what Dutchy does to overtake the PRC car instead is he takes the car from the outside most corner, so he sets up a grip to properly take on the inside of that final stretch. It saves time, but I decided to go middle line, and that cost it.
Yeah.
Well, we're fine. 107.8, it's a decent time.
Yeah.
Not quite, you know, Dutchy level, but I'll manage.
Yeah. So apparently, according to the notes that you've given me, this actually used to be considered the optimal combo.
Oh, yes, it was. Way back when. Well, not too
How long?
long ago, actually. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh.
I was gonna time on the splits here on live split, but the emulator window was open. If I press start, if I press the backspace here, no, not backspace, sorry, space, it pauses the emulator.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're back.
Yeah. That's just a small oopsie.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, can I get this?
Here we go. Yup. Oh.
There we go. That's good.
The first time you ever got that strat, like, how good / cheating did it feel?
Well, I really felt like I think I felt like a top player for the first time.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness,
I'm
yeah.
getting close to these guys finally. Oh, man, that was really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Because
So
way
because
back
you-
when... Oh, sorry, you could...
Actually, I was leading into what you were about to explain, so go for it.
way back when the world record holders, Honasumi, Ninja Shred, they were racing with Terazi and were taking records off of one another, and they pulled off these tricks that we're just seeing right now, and I just sat like, wow, how did they do this? Can I ever get to this point? Granted, it took a long time to get these tricks right. Yeah, I had a couple of accidents here in the first lap. We're not seeing a 127.0. Probably seeing a 28. Yeah, there we go. Oh well. So if you perform well and get the tricks right, or particularly well for the latter. You can get times as low as 126.8 with Terrazzi and Assoluto. They're mind-blowing. But I can't get a 126 with Terrazzi Ambitious. Leave that to Dochi. I can only do that with Promessa.
Right.
We've been having a rough Wonderhill, in spite of the boost ride. But we'll take those.
Yep. I think it's really interesting how this Terrazzi looks a lot like the FA racing car from Ridge Racer 1 and Revolution. Like, almost like it's implying
true.
that it's implying like, hey, this is the exact car you were driving in the first two games. And then Ridge Racer 5 comes along and goes, no, it was a Kamada Fiera. Sorry.
And that
yeah.
was Wonderhill.
Wonderful.
I'm pretty sure this track is actually a nod to, I'm not sure if I should say the band or the name of the song. Maybe copyright stuff.
It's only copyright if we actually play the actual song.
Ah, wonderful. So yeah, as you can probably tell by the name of the tracks, it's filled with numerous musical references from 90s and even before. So,
Yep.
Helter Skelter is the obvious Beatles reference. Oh, hold on. This is a hard trick.
Yep. Lock in. Lock in. Here we go.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
oh no. At least I didn't lose that much speed. Just fell to 128. So, Helter Skelter being the obvious Beatles reference. Wonderhill, I believe, is a play on Wonderwall, the song from Oasis. Out of Blue is the shortened version of Neil Young and Crazy Horse's My My Hey Hey Out of the Blue. And finally, Heaven and Hell seems like it's a nod to Black Sabbath's album of the same name. I hear Kota Takahashi really enjoys hard rock and heavy metal.
Which is interesting considering like the sort of like jazzy kind of rhythms. I don't speak music, sadly. Or at least I don't speak music the way a musician does, but still has like the same kind of jazzy kind of feelings that you'd expect out of, Gran Turismo or, bands like Cassiopeia, Dimension, or T-Square.
Yeah, I think this song Naked Glove features elements from the New Jack Swing. I think that's the genre. Yeah. I think it was popular during the late 80s and early 90s, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's a very like specific kind of flavor of rhythm and blues.
Even Michael Jackson's album Dangerous featured a lot of New Jack Swing. It came out in, I think it was 1991.
Yep, 91.
It's a huge hit. Like everything that man done, he was a genius. King of pop, no less.
It's very interesting.
Oh, yeah, you can say it. Sorry.
It is kind of interesting to me how many, Japanese artists of like many different kind of disciplines, not even specifically just music, like take inspiration from Western influences, whether it's stuff that happens in shows or whatever, or Western music or Western art, essentially. So very interesting to see elements of that. All kinds of media.
I was speaking to Kota, I think it was one of his YouTube posts. He mentioned that Naked Glow, Rev Limit Funk, and The Ride actually inspired him into writing more rock songs.
Hmm. That's really interesting. It's
Of all his works, yeah, we can see that if you check the YouTube comments and the amount of views of his songs on YouTube, you can see that Naked Glow and Move Me get the highest amount of love and attention from the general media, even fans in general.
Yeah.
It's too bad a Rev Limit Funk and the Ride don't get as much love. But as he mentioned, maybe somewhere in the future he plans on writing like an article talking about the making of those songs. I would love to see that.
It would be really nice to get more of, information on like his creative process behind a lot of those songs too.
We didn't really talk about the Wild Boar, did we? I actually love this car, particularly the RTS version that we're driving right now.
I have the opposite opinion, and it is purely because this little Fisher-Price toy gets in my way a lot, which is very impressive considering how much smaller how much less space it takes up compared to a lot of the other cars in this game. I'm also used to seeing it in the red and yellow of PRC, which ironically makes it kind of look like a McDonald's Happy Meal toy.
It does. No, I really don't like Out of Blue with this car, though. Or grip cars in general.
Right. It does
Really?
feel pretty awkward with this particular track.
The one thing I get...
Go.
The one thing I get right consistently is this 133 trick that we just saw. The timing is weird. Kaneko had that figured out, so I just watched the footage and I learned it myself, and I can pull it off nearly all the time. It's a nice accomplishment, I say. Must be nice.
Is there a way you can explain like how that's pulled off at all, or is it literally just you gotta watch it to kind of go, okay, I get it, kind of thing?
There is a way. There's a... Oh. Darn. Okay, there's a setup for this. I'll explain it as I get close to the segment. Yeah, that's a problem, right? You mess up once, and then the AI cars will get in your way from the moment you mess up to the very end. That's the problem of Racing Team Solos Out of Blues. So you need to time your downshift as you land. There, and hold on to a little bit. You land the car, downshift. Because the game thinks there's a particular segment of that jump, that slope, and the game thinks you are going downwards. So as you downshift, you gain an extra kick because you're going downwards. So you can actually roll past the 132 limit with Wild Boar. But if you delay it too much, you won't be able to roll past the speed limit.
Right. It's really interesting, like in a lot of these old games where you can like literally trick the programming into doing, modifying the performance like mid-gameplay. Like it's almost tantamount to in Gran Turismo 1 and 2. If you set up the suspension where the front is like pointing downward, so you slam the front of it to the lowest setting, but like have the rear of the car lifted up as high as you can, you literally trick the game into thinking the car's constantly going downhill, and that gives you an acceleration boost.
It's sort of similar here at R4. Only you're doing this with manual tricks, and there's the formula. What's this formula car again?
Oh goodness, I feel
I know
like
it's a Starlight, but it's a Honda something, isn't it?
Yeah, Honda RA272 from 1965 or thereabouts.
I do not like the small with this car at all. Small is pretty difficult with RTS grips, actually.
Hmm.
Well,
Especially
DRT
if
is a
you're not-
little harder, but it's still... It's
Yeah,
one of the
it's not a
main mob
cakewalk.
killers, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard mode for a reason.
Mhm. Barely didn't get to 30, okay. Guess we can make up for that. The final lap in particular is terrible. Gonna see why. Right as we take this hairpin, the DRT car will be in the way. Now I'm still thinking about what I'm gonna do with it. If I brake, if I just use the Excel, we'll see. Alright, we didn't explain how the grip mechanics worked, did we? With brakes and acceleration, did we?
I feel like we briefly kind of touched on the differences between drift and grip, but the nuances, I feel like we just had the gameplay speak for itself.
Similar to drift cars, you can initiate grips with just letting go off the accelerator and let the car rubbers itself while cornering. Or you can force a grip while pressing the brakes. Regardless of which method you use, you need to lose traction in order to initiate a grip, similar to drift cars. Oh, here it is, the objective and brightest light. This is an evil track. It doesn't look like it, but it certainly is. I remember in a couple of Dutchy streams that I was around, we were musing over which course truly is the hardest. And depending on which combo you use, brightest light is actually harder than heaven and hell, surprisingly. Oh, here's the AI trying to block me. Oh no, you won't.
Oh! I love how in all of these like different configurations, it's always up to you also. Because you have a teammate in these races. They're usually in 4th place, and yet they can just constantly finish the races in 4th place, and, you know, your team manager is not going to crawl down their throat about it. Oh! Very good opportunity, actually, because we've been neglecting to talk about RTS's whole storyline deal, too.
Nice,
So,
58. Or 59, I mean.
Oh my, yeah, that's... Submitted on this is pretty impressive.
And funny enough, sometimes the partner car tries to block us, and this is more common in Dig Racing Team, well, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But even in Mappy, sometimes it tries to block us. I was surprised. I thought that wouldn't happen at all. But as I was running 100%, there were instances which the partner car tried to block me, and I say, are you serious?
It does feel like, bro, whose side are you on?
I can understand in Dig Racing Team for lore purposes. It could be that the owner is just manipulating the partner car, the driver, to just mess us up and prevent us from winning, just to get back at Robert Crispa. Because by the time Brightest Night ends, the owner actually wants to fire Robert Crisman as well.
Yeah.
But in lower difficulties, come on. What are you doing this? At 59.6, that's a really solid time. Really solid.
Yep.
Thought you would be proud.
Well, Dutchy's in chat. Hey, Dutchy, are you proud? at Flying Dutchy 91. You better be.
This was a good Brightest
so,
Night, yeah. This was
yeah,
decent.
It's been real nice.
It's worth noting that I do find Grip, Brightest Night, at least with Racing Team Solvaloo, lower difficulties in general, easier than Drifts. But that gets thrown out of the window with DRT. It's just It's just hard no matter what.
Right, of
661, wonderful. That was very nice practice night. Perhaps that was the best performing race so far. When it comes to, you know, the lowest time we can get, and what we effectively get, this was close to PB.
3, 2,
Ooh, that's really good.
But now this, well, great song, by the way.
Hell in hell with a brief sprinkling of heaven, but otherwise.
I do think
There's like-
small. Oh, sorry. Continue.
No, I'm just saying a dumb, stupid joke. You go ahead.
Oh,
You got actual important stuff to talk about.
I do think that small is harder than brightest night with RTS grips, though. But with RTS drifts, it's the polar opposite. But heaven and hell is evil no matter what. A nice 150. There's a little segment there in that uphill climb where they'll get. Okay, this could have been worse, but we'll take those. Lost a little bit of speed there. Because there's a little segment there in that uphill climb where the game thinks you're going downhill, and some cars can roll over their speed limit this way. All the RTS cars, I think except Infinito from Assoluto, they have the top speed at 149, but if you went fast enough for that, the segment where the Heaven and Hell segment starts, you can go to 150, like I did. Oh, wait, hey, get out of my way. Thank you.
Oh,
That big...
get out of my way, I have a race to win.
And that was the 80% plus car, by the way. We saw that at the beginning of the R4 segment. There's a 150 again. Nice.
Yep.
What was that time? Oh, 106.8. Ah, in spite of the mistakes, okay. And that was too close for comfort. Reliving.
Just think, after this race, you will never have to race grips on this track again.
Do I hope or do I fear? I don't know. Because the upcoming races are so bad. 106.1, that's not too shabby.
Yeah.
I see a 0. Or maybe a 105.9. Well, that's almost Dulce level. Who knows? Maybe I can get one of those.
We'll see what the cards have in store.
And if the pilot can manage that. Can I see a 150? No, not this time. Okay. But it's fine. It's not a significant time save anyway. There we go. That was clean. Normally that's a wrong killer. That back marker pass.
Yeah.
We made it. And that was a good Heaven and Hell. I'm surprised. Normally this goes terrible.
It was a little rocky on the first go around, I will say, but I mean,
we
it still
take
looks
those.
pretty good. Yeah, we take those.
Way better than, say, a 109 first lap.
Yeah.
You've got a new car.
Which,
Of course,
it's realistic.
yeah, it's realistic. I mean, shoot, my standards are so low, it's pretty much just like, as long as I don't have to repeat the race, we're good.
And this car you just saw, this is a Hot Wheels car mixed with a TSL20. It's the Tarazi Destroyer. And I stalled. Ooh. So what happens is, if you miss the timing of the manual tricks, your car will stall really badly. Like it just happened. Oh,
Almost like you're trying to start a car from standstill in fifth.
that's essentially it. Car just dies.
Yep.
I wonder how the cycle will be right now. Normally, this is a very tough race. Well, I wouldn't say very tough, but it's a dangerous cycle with Destroyer because this car is so fast that it gets ahead of the cycle considerably faster than most other cars you drive here. With the closest being RTS Squallow. It's still a little slower. It gets a more friendly cycle, but it can still mess you up. But with this car, not only it's faster, but it has a severe handling issue. Really severe. It doesn't corner well at all.
So you really gotta pick and choose your lines.
And if you're driving around the course optimally, we normally pass the PRC Squallow that we're about to do that. Don't get it right. Okay. It got the speed boost just in time. I thought I was gonna hit the back of it. Normally we pass that car on that first tunnel right. And it's really tight, because it's right in all way. A similar thing happens when you're driving a DRT Assoluto with Squallow. The Racing Team Salvaloo car will be right where you want to be. You mess up your line even slightly, and your run dies.
Right.
That's how evil it is. And we got a new record. I actually beat my Supernova's record with this car.
Then we got a lap and a half left to go for RTS Tarazi. And we managed to go the entire thing without talking about RTS's story.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna have a RTS Assoluto still. Basically, the story of Racing Team Salvaloo is you're working for Enki Gilbert. He's basically the Enzo Ferrari equivalent of a Ridge Racer universe. 13 years prior to the story, his son used to drive for Racing Team Salvaloo, and his partner driver was Shinji Yazaki. Yazaki, he is the manager of Pack Racing Club when the story takes place. So an accident occurred, which, well, Yazaki was just partially responsible. That caused an accident that caused the death of Giuliano Gilbert. It's the son of Enki Gilbert. He stayed away from the competitive scene for 13 years, blaming himself for the death of Giuliano. And then comes Rio Racing Roots 99, and he's finally ready to race again. He returns as a manager of PRC. The accident was really traumatic for Enki Gilbert for highly understandable reasons. And ever since... Oh, I selected auto transmission by accident. Let me fix this.
You're able to at least fix this before the race starts, too. So if you accidentally select it, I mean, you're going to take a little bit of time loss, but still.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
If it was just another run, I would be resetting. Sometimes I nickname this course as Reset Skelter.
Yeah.
The amount of times I have to reset here. Oh, here is DRT Lizard. So, as I was explaining, so Enki Gilbert, he tries his best to not have any sort of attachment to his drivers, because he doesn't want to experience the same loss that he did when his son died. And in fact, the track that Giuliano died was exactly Shooting Hoops. And lore-wise, it was the first time that Shooting Hoops was featured in the Rio Racing Roots ever since the accident that claimed Giuliano's life took place. But as the player driver progresses through Grand Prix mode and he just leaves the competition in the dust, He begins reminding Gilbert of his late son. He grows attached to him. And the trigger to this fear of losing him like he did to Giuliano was not only, you know, the amazing performance of the player driver, but also the return of Yazaki. When Enki learned that Shinji Yazaki was back in the racing, albeit as a racing manager, PTSD kicked in, and Enki grows so afraid by the time that the player driver races shooting hoops, he just begs for him to just come back alive. He doesn't even have to finish the racing first. Just come back alive. He says that quite literally. No matter what, come back. Come back alive. And needless to say, when you win the race, Gilbert is absolutely overjoyed that you beat real racing roots and you came back alive. He's like Enki sees the driver like a son to him, basically. But that's the whole plot of RTS, summarized in a few words. Hope that makes sense.
As you can tell, like, PRC, because of that fact, PRC and RTS's stories are very interwoven with one another, because you get two major perspectives of the pretty much the same event. Because when you're with PRC, Yazaki kind of delves into, you know, his recollection of the events that happened. And so, because of that, both RTS and PRC's stories are actually very closely intertwined, where comparatively, DRT and Micromouse Mappy are bottle episodes by comparison. So, like, they have little, if anything else, to do with any of the other teams. Like, the only common thread I can think of is the mechanic for Micromouse Mappy is someone who actually used to work for DRT.
Oh, the manager, right? Donald Lewis.
Yeah. Yeah, Donald used to work for DRT before he left. I don't know why he would, you know, want to do that, because DRT is definitely a team that, you know, absolutely, you know, respects everyone who works for it. Smile.
In fact, Chrisman even says, he says something like this after we finish Wonderhill, no less. It's this race. He congratulates the player for winning, and then he said, Arona says, the logo of the team will make a great commercial. And then he said, for crying out loud, all he cares about is marketing. No wonder Donald Lewis left.
Yeah.
They do mention Enki Gilbert is mentioned in all stories, but just in Mappy, Sophie says, oh, we're doing so great, we can actually face RTS head on. That's the last we'll see of him. Chrisman mentions him a few times more. He also mentions Giuliano. When you win 2 races without retrying in final GP, it makes that mention of Giuliano, saying that he was an incredible driver, but he lost in an accident. And he even specifically confirms that he died on shooting hoops, testing to Yazaki's recollection of those events. Because if for some reason, say, you retry Phantom Isle, but then you win Brightest Night and Heaven and Hell without retrying, he says in After Heaven and Hell, oh, you won 2 perfect races. Only Giuliano Gilbert had done that in the past, and the next race is where he failed. You're a different kind. You're gonna cheat death and win this race unlike him. He says that.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely talking you up, because by that point in the story, like, gameplay kind of mandates that you need to be winning by that point, so.
We're actually having clean bonfire races so far.
Yep.
Overall, I do think that Lizard is the easiest to speedrun with DRT. Mainly for the fact that because Bonfire is slightly slower than the other cars, it gets better AI cycles in comparison. And that's the thing from Helter Skelter to Out of Blue. But then stage 3 is just hard all around, no matter which manufacturer you choose.
Yep.
You've got a new car.
Here we are,
It
your
definitely
favorite car.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love it.
This is
Love
the
it.
Lizard Officer. It looks like a Corvette. What Corvette again?
The 5th generation Corvette, which at the time of this game would be like the most up-to-date Corvette. Versus the Lizard Wisdom, if you were playing a little less optimally, kind of resembles a 2nd gen Corvette.
Nice boost ride. We got it all the way through.
There's the Happy Meal toy. There's the McDonald's Happy Meal toy again. I hope he doesn't get in your way.
It will.
Yep, it will.
It will.
What am I saying? It will.
And it's one of the toughest passes of this track.
Yep. And again, it's so small, you would think it would be the least likely to get in your way, but it always gets in your way.
One funny thing as I found out is that Wild Boar's hitboxes are busted.
That does make sense.
There's a clip that I sent in the Ridge Racer channel that as I was trying to pass the PRC Fatalita with the RTS Wild Boar. As I was, that the same segment that I tried to pass it. Oh, 106.6, that's actually a decent time. As I tried to pass it, I just collided with it, but it was just thin air. How did I hit the Fatalita? But I did. You see that pass I just did? With the other manufacturers, it's just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
With the Officer, at least it's more manageable. It's still finicky. And there's a Wild Boar. Look at that.
Yep, just chilling on it in his own lane. Or actually, not in his own lane, in your lane specifically.
And just like that, I hit the wall trying to pass it. Yeah, it's just the psychological damage this car causes is just...
Little Fisher Price, little Tykes, little car.
Minus 1.5 seconds, just like that. There's the Fatalita.
My second favorite vehicle in this game.
It wasn't the third. Behind
like
Wisdom and Officer.
I feel like handling-wise, it actually does have a little bit of an edge over Wisdom.
It does, that's true. At least the DRT version, it does. Yeah, the difference in performances between the cars in DRT is just wild. We get this? Thank you. That's better. It's looking like a, 107.3? Let's see if I'm right.
We'll see when we get there.
Although I don't think this was a particularly amazing lap.
Ah, 107.
I think this was a high 107. Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a high 107.
Yeah. Oh, low 107. That was actually better than I thought.
Oh.
I thought it would be a 107.3. It was a 107.2. Okay. It's like a Dutchy. Oh no, it was a bot. I thought it was Dutchy. This is the same font here. As I checked the chat. Oh man, that was a miss.
Oh no, we stalled.
That was a misinput.
Remember,
Anyway.
Maggie.
Oh well.
It's alright, you'll catch them.
Honestly,
So this
at this
Yeah.
rate, the only race I'm really out of danger of losing if I mess up is shooting hoops.
interesting.
Because at least if you get in front of the first place car, if you mess up behind it, it's no big deal. Just don't mess up too many times. Did I just hit Finn there? Apparently so. I don't understand this game's hitboxes at times. Oh man, what a mess.
Unfortunately, in the 90s, that's just one of those things that you just kind of shrugged your shoulders and accepted.
And there are instances here. I'll see if I can show this. You see this? That wall we just got past, it's actually an invisible wall. Or at least part of it. There's one that's easier to showcase.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when we're close to it. And I almost hit the wall again. I must remind myself this is Dig Racing Team and not Racing Team Solo. Right here. Let me see if I can get past the wall. There you go. There's no collision there.
We're Americans. We don't know what a corner is, and we don't know what a kilometer is.
Oh, get out of my way, Wellbo. Oh, he tried to block me. You?
You see? You see what I put up with?
Oftentimes in Dig Racing Team, the AI stands right where you want to be. And take this up to 11 when you're driving with Assoluto and Terrazzi.
Yeah.
It's honestly infuriating with them.
Yeah.
To the point I'm glad that they are not the optimal combos for any percent. I would be livid if I were to lose my PvPs because of AI getting in my way. And DRT Infinito in Heaven and Hell in particular, it's the very worst Grand Prix race there is. You can't get worse than this.
This is definitely what I would have considered like the hardest early game race, honestly, for my runs. Especially back before I was even doing the Nejucon emulation. And that particular hard right-hander at the docks threw me off so badly. So I'm very much used to stuff like Gran Turismo, Need for Speed. The way I know how to drive in those games, I have to throw that out completely for Ridge Racer because of how wildly different car control is. So it's a violation of common sense to tackle what this game would consider optimally in any other game. Like, you have to turn it, start your drift and turn in way earlier than you would expect to in anything else.
And here I was saying that Outer Blue was the easiest of the bunch. The course absolutely owned me. And look at that, we have the DRT ignition. 153 miles. This thing flies around the track.
Looking at what cars these are based off of, believe it or not, this is another Corvette, but it's not a production Corvette.
I thought the front of this car looked like a Toyota 7.
There could be elements of it, but the overall shape of it suggests to me the Corvette CERV concept from about 1990-ish, and the Corvette Indy concept from a couple years earlier than that.
Ah, fair enough.
And, I mean, if you were to, look at those cars, you would not immediately think, oh, that's a Corvette, because it very much looks wildly different. 29. Oh, sub 30. We're doing pretty
Oh, my
good
way,
here.
Starlight. Thank you.
Oh,
That often happens. It's just How it is.
You just knocked into parallel universe you.
It is a bad pass. Not much we can do about it.
Well, at the end of the day, you're in first place. You're in first place, and they are not.
Now, no matter which car you drive here, you're gonna struggle with cycles. But because I hit the Infinito in the previous lap, passing the Starlight was easier.
Yeah.
Normally, it's the hardest pass. Here we are. That's another 29. 29.
Beautiful.
You can get 29s too with Assoluto equivalent here. DRT Infinito just destroys these tracks. It's just... But it's very hard to control, so... Good luck driving that thing. Oh, here we are, brightest light with Rev Limit Folk. This is a really hard course. I'll have you know. Even harder than the previous one. Pass number 1. Look at that.
Beautiful.
How delightful. He's right where I want to be.
Oh, lovely.
That was a missed drift, by the way. I was meant to have a brake drift there. For some reason it didn't initiate, so I had to back up.
My. That line always looks very scary to me.
It is.
Because
It certainly
see
is.
that I see that approach, and I always think you're gonna smack nose first into the inside wall.
So when you do drive
But you're-
grip cars, you have to take the outside line. You
Right.
could say grip cars are the more realistic take on with Ridge Racer standards, I'd say.
Yeah.
But with drift
Yeah, and I
cars,
agree with
well, yeah, as long as you're not drifting, you'll be driving realistically. But when you do, well, it's... Oh, come on, just drift already. Why aren't you doing this?
Yeah, unfortunately, when you enter a drift state, your car is essentially on rails. You can sort of influence what direction it's going, but
That's better. Thank you.
that looked smooth. Very smooth.
Come on, can I get a 58 next lap? This one, no. It's looking like a 1 flat, almost.
I'm enjoying watching this run in particular because this speaks to me as a, hey, here's how good you could be if you were actually, driving with manual and doing the tricks.
And with an Edgicon too. Well, you do have an Edgicon, right?
I do. But
That was much
creature
better.
habit.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Oh,
Very
that
stuck
was...
in there.
I mistimed the shift. Oh well. If you mistime your up shift... That's a problem of brightest night, man.
Yeah.
A lot of runners don't a lot of players don't realize just how terrible of a track this is, especially with drift cars. It's pretty bad. Just... Oh.
Can definitely see that being the case at top level.
You ready? What's coming next?
I am. Very deep breaths.
Wheel. 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go. 3 laps to go. It's
I'm looking to get 104s here. Can I do it?
I believe.
Well, not this lap. Okay.
Next one.
Got the 145, that's nice. If you time your downshift properly after the jump with DRT ignition, you're looking to get 145 speed as you land. If you do that, you're at a good pace. Shoutouts to Fonzie for figuring out this trick I just did. The tiny drift just before that corner. It works wonders.
Coming.
Wonderful.
There we are. You back? Yeah, you back.
Yeah.
And we're back with a 104. Nice. 104.8. Beautiful. OBS, you are not being cooperative today. What's wrong with you? That scared me. Sorry about that.
You know, I know I told you about my feeling anxiety on this track with this combination with this music, but I didn't mean for something else to happen to artificially give you that same feeling.
The OBS carrying me more than heaven and hell. Look at that, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Your own killer, OBS. Who
Yeah.
would have thought?
Yep.
And that's another 104, isn't it? 104, come on, 104. Thank you very much. That's another 104. Yes.
Barely.
Very good, very good.
Barely a 104.
Another 104.8. Not the best ones, but we'll take it. Not complaining.
Yeah. Yep.
Here we are with the reckless.
Yep. We've got a short amount of time left with DRT Lizard here.
We are finishing with my flagship combo, Racing Team Salvalo Assoluto. Will I drive it properly? Well, probably not after 3 hours running this one. I'll do my best. And no stalling this time, thank you.
That's
So
definitely not a thing you can really afford on DRT.
So we're shooting hoops. The way the cycle is positioned here, if you do everything optimally, you will have an easy time with all the cars you drive here, at least with the fastest versions of them, except Assoluto. DRT Squalo is the fastest Grand Prix car you can obtain here. It runs at a max speed of 212 miles per hour, and it has a pretty decent cornering deceleration resistance. That's how you can call it. It's really fast. You can get sub 28 seconds with that thing. Because it's so fast and you'll be so ahead of the cycle that passing the lead RTS car and your partner car also, it's a very daunting task. They're actual road killers. But other than them, you should be fine. We won't be seeing DRT Assoluto this time. Perhaps the next run. Looking forward to showcase DRT Assoluto. I really like this combo. Oh, we're getting consistent times, that's nice.
I'm very loyal to this combination for more reasons than just lore reasons.
Funny thing, you may be wondering, speaking of which, how did RTS Assoluto overtook RTS Terazi as the fastest combo? Well, the reason is yours truly here. Similar to Thrasher, all he wanted to do was just speedrun R4 with his favorite combo. That is Racing Team Solo Assoluto. As I watched the top runners at the time, long-time world record holder Konosumi used to race with RTS Terazi. Was that a chew? It was a chew. Beautiful. Nice. So, as I watch him run with Ninja with, I was gonna say that Konosumi used to run with Negicon. He actually raced with the Ultra Racer. It's a different controller, but it still has a better acceleration and handling than DualShock, so you can use those.
Interesting.
As I watch him run, I wanted to pull off the same tricks he used to do with drift cars. So I'd say I'm gonna do the same because I just want to enjoy myself. I do like RTS Terazi. It's my number 3 combo behind DRT Assoluto and RTS Assoluto. But really wanted to just have fun with my favorite combo. I race as fast as I could. As I've gotten better with it, I was starting to break world record times offline. And I say, can I believe this? Does this mean that RTS Assoluto really is the fastest combo after all? It turns out it was. None of us would have believed it at the time that RTS Terazi would be outpaced by Assoluto. And there you have it. That's how Assoluto became the fastest combo again.
Well, it's standing proud on top of both PS2 and emulator boards. I will amend a little bit of the history on my end, though, on that one. So what drew me to DRT Lizard? I didn't know the lore when I started running this game. I did not grow up with Ridge Racer Type 4 at all. I looked at the leaderboard, and there wasn't a single name on there that had DRT or Lizard on it. Now granted, I'm looking at the PS2 boards because I usually run stuff on console. To this day, R4 is the only game that I'm able to run on console that I still prefer running on emulator because of the Negicon emulation. I'm able to play whatever controller I want and still get to reap the benefits of the pay-to-win, shall I say. But, yeah, that's how that started for me, actually. The fact that there was American was just kind of the icing on the cake, but as you could probably guess, considering I was on console, had a DS2, and it was my first ever time playing through the game.
And on auto transmission, no less.
It was an experience. It was a very tough experience. I very much jumped in at the deep end of the pool.
And the deepest one at that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they say that DRTR solo is the absolute hardest. But as I race with DRT Lizard with DualShock and auto transmission again, It's actually a pretty tough combo, man.
Yeah.
Really tough. Reckless isn't that better. Oh, come on. Can you drift? There goes my world records. As Dutchy and I were talking to Viper last week, our runs have gotten so optimized to the point that, oh, you mess up even once, chances are you're gonna lose your PB. It's honestly this bad.
That is wild.
Oh, here you go, Wonder Hill. I really have to focus for this. Hold on.
Here we go. Here we go, I got you. You got a boost ride. There we go.
Oh no.
Ooh.
I actually tried to drift there, but I saw that it wasn't gonna work, and I tried to go for the full speed gotta run. It is possible to get that without drifting, but it's really tight.
You did it all right. It's like I was trying to like will it into existence, sending the good vibes and whatnot, and I broke concentration for just a second. So you can blame me on that one. That was my fault.
Oh, it's fine. That's Wonder Hill for us.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure by today's standards which one is harder, if it's Wonder Hill or Outer Blue with this combo. By virtue of being such a tough boost ride, and the exit to that boost ride is also really difficult. Because what should have happened there, as I was riding on the Prophetti, was meant to have drifted right as I hit that corner. So I would conserve some of that momentum from the boost ride, and I would end up a drift much faster than usual. Sometimes I can even exit that drift at 113 miles per hour, which is past the maximum of 112 this car has. I'm gonna try going for the no drift again. Can I get it? I did. Good. Nice. I had to lift up a little bit, which is also a technique that we use here, is you excel tap in a way that you won't initiate a drift or a grip. You have to be careful though. You mess up your timing and you drift. If I don't mess this one up, this could lead into a 128 or will I get it?
A tinge.
The Wonder Hill is a massive gold mine of time save. There's so much that we can get out of this.
Yeah. There's gold up in them hills.
In fact, even Fonzie's current world record, the legendary 27-29, he can gain so much time out of Wonder Hill. It's unbelievable. That's what I say. Wonder Hill is a gold mine of time save.
Yeah.
This is at 128. What was that? And I'm 3 seconds off world record. It was up 5. Okay, that's decent enough.
You've got a new card.
So this has stricter controls than Tarazi does it.
It does. But this boost ride, I do think it's easier with Assoluto than Tarazi. A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yesterday, I actually got a 127.9 with this car at long last. But don't expect me to get this right now.
Sure enough. Surely.
Good exit though. The line wasn't, but At least I exit that that drift there at 123. That's pretty good. Normally I exit at less than 120. So far so good. It's looking nice. Perhaps a 103.0. I hope so. It would be amazing to get a 103.0 in a marathon. But probably not. Maybe a low 103.1. Oh, is it? Yeah, low 103.
It's the 103.1. Let's go.
Too bad no 103.0s this time, Gotchi. That's unfortunate. Well, that was better. Now, the next pass is distasteful, to say the least. Normally, I use the brake method to take on that corner smoothly, but guess what? Look who's in my way.
The flippin' Fisher-Price McDonald's toy. But you just passed him. Kinda
So
like
that
his
forces
sitting
me
film.
to use the Excel method, which is less consistent for that corner, I would say. Don't like that, but I don't have a choice. Because if I use the brake method, I'll end up right behind the Fisher toy car. Whereas I call the boar. I don't want to lose a lot of time to the boar, so...
Gotta beat out the other side of this, this rivalry story.
There's so many tiny details on this course that just... It's like you stand or fall on those... Oh, hold on, let me get this. Oh, I missed it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna miss this. Didn't really tilt the Negicon well enough to initiate a drift. Like I said, so many tiny details that will make your run live or die. I'm now 5 seconds off my world record. Oh boy.
Yep, and that's...
But I do have a lot of time to save in Final GP, though.
What happened in Final GP and PB?
I messed up Heaven and Hell, and the rest wasn't... I didn't mess up, it was just subpar driving, I'd say. I did get a 58 in Brightest Night, though, final lap. And that's always nice to get. Basically, if you get 58s with RTS Infinito, you're looking good. Really good. What was that? Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what to expect now, don't you, Thrasher? Guess what? The wild boar is gonna be my way more times than I can count.
Yep.
Well, not this one, actually, but the first place,
Yeah,
it will be.
the first place one.
Oh,
in my
geez,
run,
and
they're
I'll have
just
to
usually
pass
in
it
second
right
place.
here.
Yeah. I mean, passing on that particular corner is a little harrowing, but not, you know, not unrealistic. But passing on that little tiny uphill right up there, especially where it like snakes a little bit, that's definitely just gripping your controller really hard kind of type territory.
And I am at -2 already. Oh. Well, hey, it's marathon, so we'll take those.
Yeah, this has been a really good showing for all three of these categories, honestly. Like, no joke.
Thought the Megere was gonna be worse, but because the bonk was even worse than I had predicted, we're good. Well, here comes the Viper's Nest. Oh, there we go.
And
Good line. Good
so
line.
smooth. So smooth.
Normally, this is terrible. And speaking of which, if you drive this with, is it RTS Lizard? Yeah, RTS Lizard. You always have to pass the wild boar in that particular segment. As to be expected, it's a terrible class.
Yeah, I reckon.
In fact, I think Out of Blue is worse with Lizard in Racing Team Sobel than it is with Assoluto.
You reckon? You reckon so?
Yeah, because not only you have to worry about these corners, you know, getting the right angle turn right, the drift timings. Because Officer is slower than Fatalita, the AI will be at even worse spots. Because if you perform well with this and the wild board, you won't have problems passing the AI with the exception of the 5th place car. Now this is just... oh, there we go. That was clean. Which is something that happens only if you mess up at our pace. But with Lizard and Arch Solo in a way, that's just their best cycle, you know. You're forced to pass the Mappy cars, the Sovalu, no, it's not the Sovalu, the Pack Racing Club cars in terrible spots. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just get this right, otherwise they're gonna kill your run.
You've got a new car.
And here's my favorite car of the whole game. And this car is the main reason why Assoluto is faster than Terrazzi. If I can properly showcase this, you will understand why. It's a great balance of speed and controls.
3, 2, 1, go!
It isn't quite balls to the wall like the DRT version, but it's still pretty zippy. I'm looking to get low 30s here. And that's a scary pass, by the way. But the worst one is coming.
It is indeed scary.
Got it. Oftentimes with any percent RTS, the DRT cars are the worst to pass.
Sorry, not sorry.
There we go.
Something that we kind of do sometimes in the R4 community is like pretend that the AI cars that we're passing belong to other runners that happen to favor the combos of cars that we're passing. So that's kind of where a lot of that's
30.1. Nice.
So
Can I get a 30-0? Please. Maybe. It's looking like one. Tell me it was a 30.0, please. And I just saved...
looked like a 30.1.
Ah.
Yeah, it was a 30.1. Sorry.
Next goal, 58.9. Or lower. And this, well, yeah. As I explained before.
You can
Evil
do
try.
it.
3, 2, 1, go!
And now it has my song.
3 laps to go.
Oftentimes we say that the objective is Maverick's tune. Particularly on this track. I won't be speaking much. I really need to focus on this one.
Yep.
Alright, so, I guess while he's hard focusing, some good news to kind of cover, at least in the R4 community. Very recently, Fonzie on the PS2 boards, he actually broke a threshold with his most recent world record. He's recently broken the 2730 in any percent, actually. So, yeah, about 18 days ago, it was 27:29.896. So, I mean, really impressive, like, where he's taken this category in, or any percent in particular, especially, you know, on console. So, let's see what else I can say about this. So, by comparison, we flip over to emulation. Maverick's sitting at a 2732 on his on the MU board. So, there's about 3 seconds between Fonzie and him. So.
My SOB is lower than 30, but, you know, getting them is a different story.
Absolutely. Out of curiosity, I've never checked the PS1/PS3 boards. Okay, so, first place is a 2914. Interesting. Of course, then again, I mean, I recognize the name. He picked up R4 as a speed game probably, I want to say, about a year or so ago when we were trying to get the approval for the category extensions boards. And, you know, he's been doing really good times on, like, console and emulator, so flipped over to, like, PS1, PS3, and pretty sure the reason that the time doesn't sound as impressive is literally down to just the load differences. Because otherwise, I mean, that's pretty good time.
Can I see a 58? Come on. 58. 58.9.
Alright, manifest it. 58, here we go.
Please.
Oh! It was a
This-
58.9, I'm pretty sure.
There we go. 58.966. There you go, Dutchy. We finally got it. That's a 58 in a marathon. Woo! That's one of the goals. Beautiful.
Congratulations.
That deserves a clip.
Yeah.
We're not done yet. Oh,
Yeah, we just have 2 races left.
and this one's even worse. Again, won't be speaking much.
Yep. Oh, let's see here. So, as mentioned before, Maverick and Dutchy are a second apart. So, pretty good, pretty close kind of rivalry going on there. Anything else that we haven't really covered? So let's see here. This is the part where I very unashamedly flip through the notes that I was given. So, bear with me here.
Oh, did you see that? My goodness. What a jump scare.
I would have seen it, but I unfortunately had a notepad open covering
Oh, it's
what
fine.
just happened.
This will probably be a 159. Okay, I'll take it. Too many jump scares.
I mean, Hell in Hell is definitely the place for it.
No,
Or for
not
them,
this
rather.
again.
Oh no.
But we're living, okay. Just a minor mistake. Nothing particularly huge. We're still living,
Good.
and I think we're at a comfortable enough pace so that the back markers won't be too much of a threat. Or so I hope.
It won't be too far in the way.
That's heaven and hell for you. Ah,
Sometimes it
It just
Sometimes it's a
happens.
little spicy. Because unfortunately, that last corner, very awkward with Ridge Racer controls. I mean, I've definitely lost races in that specific corner. Unfortunately, that's a massive time save, or time save, no, time loss, rather. If you have the right angle and the right speed, you can pretty much full confidence that, like, but usually I wind up, smashing that out, and I wind up cowarding and just hitting the brakes and letting the on rails effective, drifting kind of carry me through.
Okay.
Okay, and oh. Ooh.
This could be a 1053 or 4, but close to that.
We shall see.
This was a good
Come on.
lap, definitely.
Looked like a 105.2 or 3 potentially.
Was it? 2. Very nice.
105.2.
That's very good. Very good. My PB on that lap is a 151. 105, 151 milliseconds. Close enough. That was beautiful. At least I got a really good lap there. That's how heaven and hell goes. You can get some awesome laps or terrible. That was a beautiful heaven and hell final lap. Worth mentioning.
It'll end in cheers or it'll end in tears. But we are on the final race of the final category of the final run.
Yeah, closing out with my favorite combo because you have to leave the best for last sometimes.
Yeah, gotta end with the big finale. What's a bigger finale than your best combo, all wins on New Year's Eve in on not New Year's Eve. So,
This race has a problem with RTS Squall, that is. If you're not at a fast, well, problem number 1 is this, but we got us. It's easier than Terrazi. The problem is, if you're not fast enough, you're gonna get punished by the back markers really hard. And guess who gets in the way? The PRC car. Or the partner car. But if I keep the space up, it won't be an issue. But so I hope. You said so, announcer. I'm taking care of this loser. And you're gonna stay behind me.
well, I mean, you've taken care of that loser, but what on earth do I do with this folder?
I call Dutchy and Fairraw. They know what to do with them.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Hey, Dutchy, what do I do?
What do we do with the folder, Dutchy? Call Fairrod? Fairrod is a viewer from Dutchy's stream. He also streams, used to stream R4 a few times before. And he basically created this joke of take care of this folder. Because a running gag, in not only in the community of speedrunning, but the game as a whole, is that the announcer is impossible to understand. And when he says take care of this loser, it sounds like he's saying take care of this folder. That's weird, I know. But I still think the R4 announcer is the best of all time, so this deep echo in his voice. And because we're at a good pace, we won't have problems with this car right now. There we go.
And we're getting pretty close to time here.
Yeah, as I cross the finish line, it's the final time. And this is looking like a 40 or 38? A 38. 37. Time.
GG.
And that was a goal shooting hoops. Nice time. Up 0.6. Ooh. My shooting moves must have been really bad in my PB. So that was a 27:37 A40, not bad for a marathon. Broke the 40 barrier, that's cool. I'm still looking forward to break the 30 barrier. One day.
Not only that, but that was about an hour 55 all manufacturers run, so very solid work there.
Woo!
So let's see here. What's the word for this one? Where is 153.22 on that? Still pretty good. Of course, like we also had some, little technical hiccups in there that might have messed things up a little bit, but we're still a very solid showing.
So that was Ridge Racer Type 4. I hope you enjoyed this game. This is my favorite game of all time for no reason. I think it's a great one at that.
No worries. Thank you very much for participating. And thank you for putting on not one, not two, but 3 Ridge Race Type 4 runs, Maverick. That was pretty impressive. And Thrasher as well being here the whole time.
There's a little piece of lore there. Yankee congratulating us on the Grand Prix. Yeah, the perfect race, sort of. But yeah, thanks again, Viper, for having us in. Sorry for the technical hiccups. OBS never done this to me before. I decided to do so. And thank you so much for Thrasher for sticking until the end, providing commentary. And we are looking forward to showcase more of Ridge Racer Type 4 in the future. I really hoped you enjoyed it.
Run the game too, it's fun.
It's one of the games that, I'll be honest, I own but I haven't played. Like, that's probably a sin, I know, in the racing community stuff, but it is one of the games that I will it's on my to-do list, that's for sure. But just any final shout-outs you want to mention, Maverick, before we head over to an intermission?
I want to give a big shout out to the Ridge Racer community and the McRaeathon as well. Since we wouldn't have this show, you weren't available to see through it all. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much for the technical staff for having us over and providing this event. And special shout outs to the R4 speedrunners. I hope you all had a blast watching this, and we'll see each other in the future. Thank you very much.
No worries, thank you very much once again for putting on that show. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed that. We're going to go to a quick intermission, and when we come back, we're going to have Carnage with Carmageddon 64 being run by Akio Taki. So don't go anywhere, and we will be back in just a few minutes. So yeah, see you shortly.